I started the streaming. E, do you want to drive that?
Yeah, please, Toddy, please help to stream it.
Yeah, I just started the streaming.
Okay. Let me check the participants. Hi, Samuel. Will Pritesh join?
I'm checking with him. He was not feeling well. I'm checking with him.
Thanks.
He's here.
Okay. Yeah, let's get started. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your stream.
Okay, we have a few items today. The first is about the notation naming issue. The second is that we have a plan from security audit team to publish the security audit report. We will discuss that. The next is about the GitHub actions. We have the issue that, sorry. Yeah, we have the issue that vote for this repository, and we can discuss how we can move forward. The next two, the next one is the V1 block. I think Feeman had a version ready for review. The last item is from Feeman. We can read for Feeman later to explain this item. Okay, so let's jump to the first one. Based on the current status, I think I made a summary on the flow on how we can complete this notation naming issue. The first thing we needed to do is to agree and merge this PR, which is to update the README file in Notary sub-repository, in Notary repository. Then we will align with this issue under GitHub repository, and once we have the super majority approval, then we can move to next one. The PR. The PR is also under the GitHub repository, which is to update the README file. This PR also requires super majority. Then after that, we continue to update the README file under each repository to specifically pointing to the GitHub README file to explain what is the overall the Notary project, and also explain what specifically the each repository the purpose. So Todi, Samuel, do you have any further information to share here?
So Sabir, we discussed that last Thursday, right? Do you have any feedback, and can we get actually to merge the Notary repository README?
I think the Notary repository README is a no-brainer. We should go ahead with that. I think on the issue number 35, where we have not settled on a good name. We can settle on it later. For the specification folder name, I think that was the only thing outstanding. But I think I'm good with the Notary readme.md changes. I put my comments in on suggest PR. I think let's complete step 1. And even in step 2, the one issue 35, I think we have agreement on almost everything except the specification name or the directory name or the subfolder name. But yeah, I think we are making progress there.
If maybe sorry, Sajid, go ahead.
No, so there was one feedback, which is release and call out that it is not an implementation of a specification. I was hoping we could do that as a follow-up and just clarify what the Notary project is right now. I'll do that up as a follow-up PR. Or do you want to have this one PR kind of address that as well?
I think it will help we address it. I was reviewing the PRs and I noticed a comment by Emily Fox on something which I thought was very appropriate, Sajay. And if you have looked, I can share that link to that PR. If we include that now on top of your PR and we merge her comments for a different PR here as well, then it will look so much better.
Okay, so if there's any specific verbiage, so there are 2 points here. Do you want me to share a screen? I think getting this unblocked will help.
Yeah. Let's share screen and just unblock it today. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Can folks see my screen?
No, I'm seeing Feynman's screen right now.
Fame, I think I may need to make you a host.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, I see it now. Yes, we can see your screen. Yeah.
All right. So, so for folks who don't have context, so the basic change is we're kind of removing the uppercase notary in most of these places. The other thing is we're calling out that this the notary here is targeting this repository and is targeting the server and the client. Otherwise, everything else remains the same. I think one area that I would like that wants to call out attention is the repository provides an implementation of the update framework specification, and that's what I left it at. So Samir, what you're saying is that when it was released, would how would you like me to word this though?
Yeah, I was struggling with it myself, and then I gave some ideas just so that anybody who has been following it for some years will know something came out earlier. I just shared a link to a PR by Emily. She had posted some comments on top of a PR by, I believe it was by Tori. If you can click on that link I just shared. She has given some good language. I think, yes, the third blob here, if you read the third blob, the Notary project started with, I think this was good language, which I thought will clarify a lot of things if we borrow some language from here into your PR.
I see. Okay. So this is update on.
So, Sajay, one comment here is we need to make sure that this language also mentions that the implementation in the Notary repository is tied to TUF, right? Because there were other kind of like signing images is too generic. That's my point, right? Like I can sign image, like even signing the internal binaries there, right? And this is how signing has been done in the past. We had situations where Docker images had embedded signatures as part of the binary that is built inside. Just wanted to make sure that the language is what we would like to really be, because just saying it's implementation for signing images in container registries. I'm not sure that in TUF actually the signatures are not stored in the container registry in TUF. We need to be clear about that, right?
Right. So this is 32 on the GitHub repository, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
that's
And
the.
I,
Just to clarify. This
yes,
is
and I,
only for the notary. Sorry, go ahead. I'm talking
sorry,
over.
yeah, my bad. I was jumping in. I agree with Toddy, but I think that language that Emily proposes is quite nice, and it dates that notary client implementation is based on TUF. I like that language better than what I was suggesting. Basically, I was looking at a way for anybody reading the notary README to know it started many years ago. It was based on the TUF implementation. It required a registry and server, and it had a client called Notary, which did blah. And I think that was very succinctly explained by Emily in that feedback she gave. I think it was on top of Tori's changes. So I really liked it. I'll let you guys read and see if you disagree with any parts of it.
Yeah, let's add it to the PR and we can discuss it in the PR.
Okay, sounds good. So what I'll do is I'll take verbiage from this block, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take verbiage from here, add it to
This
that.
blob and then the next blob, even like due to tight integration of notary and registry, it had these limitations, and like feel free to whatever you think. I really like the way she had put this here.
Okay, I was trying not to update that notary project with more information.
Okay.
And probably point to, for current state of the project, C here, which would be 35 or 32, and then take it from there. Versus keeping that README update just to kind of remove ambiguity from the notary project itself, right? And so that's why I didn't want to add the notary project again started. It would kind of like, but I'm okay anyway, whatever works, right? Like as long as people are happy and calls out the actual purpose. So leaving this definition here and there, it's, so just to kind of give context, in that section, it's actually just, there's only a notice here. Right now, the overview is kind of like starts with this set, which is still comprises of a client and a server for running and interacting. That's where it starts. So this notice is all that is actually updated, and we're kind of removing the definition of the notary project from that, if that helps. Does that make sense? It was more like trying to avoid, because this one will, Paul will have to approve this, by the way.
And Samir, maybe one comment from me. I think that the overall goal that actually and CNCF is asking us to really differentiate the notary and what is in the notary repository from notary project, right? Adding language about notary project in the notary repository and may actually bring us back to the confusion. And
Right, and
I
that's
am
why
fine
I avoided
if
notary project
yeah,
anywhere here.
yeah, if we can keep all the notary project stuff on the main overview page, it will be much clearer for folks. And we can say on the main kind of in the .github README file, we can say like that notary, which is the repository, was kind of the first attempt to improve the security for containers, but that failed due to this and this and these reasons.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, I think I can. I see why you did not put there, Sanjay. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think then you can ignore my comments. I can pull them out.
No, I mean, just kind of like, I'll clarify as to, I mean, the point was like to echo what Tori was saying. I did not add clarification of what the notary project is here, rather scope this change to call out that this repository focuses on only XYZ things and not call out what it does not do or what the overarching goal of notary is in this, just to kind of like keep this It's more like cleaning, no additions at this point.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, then we need some other way to date it. And I like what Toddy put down, like this, the last stable version is 061, or I don't know if we can say that there. But
I'm stepping away from even calling that out, because then if they make another release or something like that, or a patch or a fix or something like this, they'll have to keep updating the image. So that's why I didn't step into that. But that's the point of this call, is to kind of discuss why I did those things. And if you really want it, I can go back and add it. It's just a couple of text here and there, so it's not like too much of work. But I feel like it takes away from cleaning this up. If you look at this repository, there's no mention of Notary project. There's no mention of notation or like any overarching theme.
okay, then let me summarize and maybe just two things to just add there. Like, just say it was first released in November 2015 without saying what was the last release. I think that will date it by itself. And then we can, if it's okay, we can borrow a line from Emily's feedback and say the Docker Content Trust was based on this. So anybody reading this can associate, okay, this came out in 2015 and Docker Content Trust was loosely based on this. I think there was a line she used here. The most prominent use of this implementation is the Docker Content Trust.
Yeah, there are a couple of places.
Yeah, I think those two will be my not must-haves, but nice-to-haves. And I want us to move past this, but I think those two will help us date it, saying, yeah, this is the one over which we iterated.
I'll do those and send out an update.
Sounds good.
I have two questions. One, Sajay, I saw this PR. It seems that there are some failures on the CI.
Right.
Do you need any help on that part?
I don't think these CIs will pass at this point in time, because even the last update that I saw might have not passed the CIs, but I can check.
Yeah, because it seems there was no PR merge for some time, right? So maybe the CI won't work. I don't
Correct.
know. I just checking with this.
So who should I tag to make progress on this PR? I mean, will the folks on this call be enough to update it, or is there somebody else that we need to talk? Because the maintainers on this are different, right?
Well, at the minimum, we can have the org maintainers vote on that and accept the PR.
I'll make the update and tag the org maintainers then.
Yes, the org maintainers, as well as the maintainers for the repository. I think you can add up to 10 people, I believe.
Okay, so this PR need org maintenance to approve it. Okay. One question to Samuel. I lost your one comment. You mentioned that it's better that for such as PR we can borrowing some feedback from Emily's proposal. You mentioned another one. I didn't write down it yet.
No, that was it. I think within that there were two different sections. There was just that one PR comment. That was it. Nothing else.
Okay, thanks. Okay. Okay, so we have to wait for this PR to be approved and merged, right? And anything else we can do in parallel.
I think the
For the
GitHub,
yeah,
I think the GitHub change we can start as well. I think the .github PR, the number 32, I think we can start applying Emily's request on that and just push that PR out as well. The one I shared in chat.
okay, so that's Today's PR 32, right? How about the issue 35? I remember that we needed to ask org maintainers to approve it. But it seems we didn't receive any comments yet from the org maintainer.
Yeah, so I was hoping Niaz could join today, but he's traveling, so he couldn't make it today. So he has looked at the request, I believe, but maybe he'll be able to join the next meeting and then share his thoughts. Were we able to get in touch with the other org maintainers? Anybody else?
Samir, is it possible to ask Nias and Milin to at least comment so we know what the issue is and we can address those before the next meeting?
Yeah, definitely. I think the main point was they wanted to make sure we do everything possible to remove any confusion. And I think it was going back to what are we going to call our new repo or the subdirectory in the repo. I think the notary signature specification was was one of the bigger items. We were thinking that will still cause confusion to people. So if we can find a better way to construct it.
Is if we have a specific issue filed for that, do you think describing how we're gonna call the repository, what will be the folder structure inside, do you think that will help?
I think that will help, but I think the main rub is calling it notary signature specification, where somebody can still think of that overloaded term as meaning something else.
I don't think we proposed notary signature specification. Proposed notary project signature specification. That was the proposal. But if you think that will help, either I or somebody else can write a issue and just describe. Anyways, we need to have an issue to create that repositories anyway.
Right.
So we can just create the issue and have the exact proposal how we're gonna call it, what will be written, what the folder structure will be, and get the approvals on that particular issues we need. But I can take that as an action item and do that tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So if you can add to the notes that I will go ahead and create that issue.
Okay. So Toddy will create an issue for the notary project repository changes, right? Is this issue for
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, for the new repository and also archive the notary project repo later, right?
Sorry, can you please repeat that? I didn't got the last sentence.
Sorry, Pritesh, was that for me or for E?
For E. It was for E.
Yeah, I mean that Toddy will create an issue for the new repository, which will basically include some specification requirements and also the photo structure. And for the original Notary project repository will be archived later once the new repository is set up. Sorry, Pritesh, did that answer your question?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. Let me finish the notes real quick. Okay. Okay, so Samuel, you will also ping Nias for the comments on the GitHub issue 35, right? Yeah, it's better that we have this Thursday meeting, right? It's better that we can have some comments so that we can discuss it efficiently during the Thursday community meeting.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, thanks. I will write down the note later. Let's continue. The next one is related to the security audit reports. We have that channel with the security team, and Adam proposed to have the blog published on Thursday this week. But the latest status is that this is the original plan, but the latest status is that the blog from the security is not ready yet. I think from our side, we also need to prepare a blog. So there are still some work related to the blog, and also once the blog is ready, we also need to spend some time to review it. Toddy, please.
I just wanted to ask whether somebody is sharing something because I don't see anything shared.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to share it again. Let me share it. Yeah, so I only have one screen, so please let me know if any comments in the chat area. So I cannot see it. Okay, we are on the second agenda about the security audit report. I think Feynman, based on Adam's comments, we also needed to prepare a blog, right? So they are basically, we have two blogs. One is from our side, another is from Adam's team, right?
I don't think we will need to create two blogs from Adam Logics and from our side. I think the latest updates from Adam is that the blog post from their team is not ready yet. They are asking us if we can create a blog post from our side. So we still need to follow up with Adam and see who should own this blog post and publish it on the Notary or on the CNCF website. I think we need to avoid duplicated work for this blog post.
So Fabian, could you help to discuss with Adam to confirm that we only need to have one blog and we work together on that one? Could you clarify?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can continue to follow up with Adam and confirm this work with his team. I think we will need only one blog post, and it would be better that Adam's team can take this ownership and we can assist to review that. But if they have no bandwidth on this blog post, then we can take it.
I think this is a good proposal. Yeah. Okay. The next one is about the GitHub Actions. I know we discussed this previously, but it seems that we still need some time to fixing the naming issue, right? And the naming issue needed to be fixed before we release the V1 release. So it will take more time, which is not expected. So I think since we already have this issue, asking for vote for the new repository for setting up GitHub Actions, and we also received the majority approvals on the repository, and also the GitHub Action actually is not blocking V1 release, or V1 will not block this GitHub Actions. The actions basically could work with notation releases. So I would suggest that we continue to create this new repository so that Josh, and I think Josh is also working with Miran on some GitHub actions so that their work can be contributed to the repository as soon as possible. Otherwise, it will be blocking for too long time. Miran?
Hi,
Yeah.
Yi, am I audible? What I was gonna ask was, yeah, the GitHub Actions will be what do you call that? Will be proceeding to getting that done and everything with on an official repo post V1 release. Yes, as you mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, it will be coming after V1, right?
No, I mean the GitHub action, we can do it in parallel.
Yeah.
It will not, yeah, because even with the current RC versions, user can still use GitHub action to set up a notation, right?
Yeah,
So,
no,
yeah.
I mean like in terms of getting the official repo up and going and stuff like that, because currently at the moment, me and Josh are working on the prototype. We've been connecting and figuring out certain issues that I've been encountering, and so far it's been going like that. We plan to get it up and running and some kind of working model as soon as possible. I just wanted a clarification on that. Now we are working on it parallelly, but we'll be putting that up post V1 release, or how's that going?
Yeah, Myron, maybe I misunderstood, but currently the work is not officially under the Notary project organization, right? It's I know some ongoing work, but without this repository, how can we contribute the work back to it?
Yeah. So I meant what you're saying is, let's proceed with this issue to get the official repo up, and then me and Josh can contribute our work, which we've been doing on his prototype. Yeah.
Yeah, especially this proposal is focusing on setup notation. It's the first step. It's not covering the sign part and the verification part. It's only setup notation.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we can firstly get the setup notation ready under this new repository, and we also need the maintainers to review this code, right? So this work can be done in parallel. So it won't be blocked by the naming issue by the V1 release. Yeah.
Okay. That's what you meant. Sorry if I created any confusion, but okay. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Myron. Any comments from other people that we can proceed to create this repository, and we can move this the first I think Josh's work about setup notation into this repository, and then maintenance can start reviewing.
I have no issues. I think you should go ahead.
Thanks, Joy. Any comments from other people? Samuel Pritesh?
Looks, I'm fine with that for that
Okay,
specific
great.
issue.
Yeah, great. And also, once the GitHub README that PI is merged, we will also update this README for the dual repository accordingly. Okay, great. Thanks. Then we have then who can help to create this new repository?
I can help with that. I just something very, I think we had some conversation whether we would like to wait after the release for that. I don't remember anymore why, but Samir, do you remember something like this?
Yeah, I do, because we'll have to go and update that this repo is under our, we have to go and update. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Yeah, I think what you and I were discussing was we'll have to go and update all places where we talk about all of our repos under this project. So we'll have to go and add it in .github and any other place where we call out the repos under this org.
Yeah, I think we wanted to solve the naming issue first before we do that. But if we are deciding that we want to actually create the repository right now, I can do that.
Yeah, just more work. We'll have to go back and change if we decide to change it. But yes, they are parallel effort, which we can do, provided no change is required in the end.
Yes, I think I also understood the naming issue, but it seems takes more time. And this work GitHub action is already, we already have a majority part ready, especially related to the setup notation. I think we can, so that's what I recommended, that we create this repo so that Josh's work can be contributed to this repository, and the maintainer can start working it. Because not all the maintainers are focusing on the naming issue, right? And also we can create an issue in this repository that we will update the README file and put into the GitHub repository README file as an overall project information. But for this specific repo, I think the purpose is very clear, which is to just the setup notation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I suggest we do it in parallel, and this will be more efficient. Okay, so thanks for the comments. So Toddy will create a new repository for maybe per that issue. I will update the issue link later. So then we continue. The next agenda item is the release block. Freeman, do you want to share more details, or you just want to call out that this is ready for review?
Yeah, I think this is just a call, and we have blocked a slot with CNCF, and we will publish on CNCF blog post. But before that, I will need other Notary maintainers to help me review and contribute more content to this blog post. So my hope is that I raise a PR, a draft PR to Notary website repo and request review there. And I think before we merge in that PR, I think we will incorporate or suggested changes from other Notary maintainers. After that, we can publish it on CNCF blog post first, and then we can merge that PR into Notary website. Yeah, I also added the link here. So if there's no big problems from this draft, I think I will raise a PR in the Notary website repo and request reviews from others.
Second statement. So you mean that you need maintainers to review this hack markdown file first, right? So that after that you can address some major comments. Then you will proceed to create a PR under the website repository for this blog, right? And you will also share it to the CNCF team for this blog. Yeah.
Correct. Just make sure this blog post is on the right direction, and we have we don't have big concerns on the draft. Then we will publish. Then we will create. I will create a PR in the Notary website to request review for those details.
Okay. So take note. Request maintenance. I think this is for the V1, so it's quite an important block. So while we are fixing this naming issue, but it's better that we can start review this block.
Yeah.
So Samuel Pradesh, could you also spend some time on review this blog? Okay, I saw the thumbs up. Thanks. Okay, the next, the last item is also from Freeman. Could you explain it?
Yeah, I guess you folks might already seeing the messages from a user, a VMware user, who mentioned that they are the team for VMware Bitnami. I think it's a very large application publisher on GitHub, also on the Docker Hub, and they are interested in using notation with Docker Hub, but unfortunately, they are not. They are failed to set up notation with GitHub and failed to sign their images. And I think Toddy also reproduced that issue with Docker Hub. So I'm thinking Bitnami is an important user for notation, and I think they have a large amount of applications, and images can be signed by notation. I think this is an opportunity for us to consider and help them to unblock their use case. So I'm not sure if there is any good suggestions for VMware team to unblock their usage, and how can we help them to adopt notation with Docker Hub? I know Justin and Steve are maintainers for Notary, and they are also employees for Docker. So shall we contact them to help? I tagged Justin and Steve in that thread, but no responses yet. I think I can forward the discussion, the Slack discussion to the chat.
So Toddy's hands up. Toddy, please.
Yes, I offered Carlos actually to connect him with relevant people in Docker to eventually help him with that. I have actually, I'm waiting to hear back from him, but I do not see what we can do actually to help, having in mind that this is a registry owned by Docker. So
yeah,
that's kind of
this is
what I am. Yeah, we need to be clear where kind of our responsibilities and options to help, and where we need to actually leave it to the actual registry owners. I understand that we would like every registry to support referrer types, and this is not a problem of Notary, this is problem of referrer types. You cannot push any referrer like SBOM or anything to the Docker Hub right now. So it's we are not I don't know how much we can help, let's put it that way.
Yeah, I understand. The case is that it depends on the registry owner or the registry vendor, that if they can help and follow up this problem. But at least I think we should let them know and understand we have a user relies on, we have a VMware user who relies on this use case, and we want to unblock their usage. So I guess Steve or Justin might help, as they are Notary maintainers and Docker employees. So I'm not sure if Toddy, you are already following up with Docker employees, or we can follow it up from our side.
I sent a text to Steve and see if he's going to respond.
Hey, so I have a question on that. So will our experimental feature not work here? Like we added the reference as an experimental option, right?
That does not work because they do not support the subject in their registry.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, so even the experimental doesn't work. And the changes they implemented after actually the OCI specification went backwards with kind of what is expected from the registries. They used to support this in January.
So Toddy, will you connect with Docker employees, or should we follow it up?
I can follow up as long as Docker employees are responsive.
Okay, thanks. So if you need any assistance from our side, I'm happy to help.
Okay, thanks, Freeman. So for this item, so basically Docker needed to support this subject field and also later the referrals, right? So it's basically on the distribution, how Docker implement this distribution spec. So from our side, we don't have anything to do. Just from a registry side, we need people from Docker Hub for the support. But I don't think we can speed up the progress. Okay, we still have 8 minutes. Do we have anything else to discuss?
I've updated the PR, so if Samir, Toddy, if you folks can hack, I can tag the maintainers.
Yeah, thanks, Sergey. I saw the PR updated. I just so I'm a little bit worried about this CI. So I'm switching to the PR's view.
Yeah,
So
I'll
don't know.
refer to the maintainers as to whether they want this thing fixed, because I haven't seen a check-in since 2000. I mean, it's not been released since 2018, right? So
I have the last topic. I can share the link to the chat. Yeah, actually, I find there are a lot of broken links and pictures in the spec, in those spec documents. So I think it may cause some documents unavailable, and we may need to find the time to fix them before we cut the release or before we migrate to a new repo. But I'm not sure when should we fix those links. And another question is that, is there a way to scan all of those documents in the Notary project repo? There are a lot of links. I mean, so I think it might be low efficient to fix it and check it one by one. So I'm thinking if there is a broken link check tool that we can scan those documents and detect those broken links and pictures, then we can fix them in one time. I just gave some examples in this issue, and I think we need to determine when should we fix this before we migrate to a new repo or new spec repo, or before we cut a tag in this repo.
I think let's just fix it here while we have it's here. Let's just fix it here. If we can fix it before Thursday, then yeah, why not?
I think it takes a long time if we don't find a effective broken link check tool to do this. There are a lot of broken links and images, pictures in those documents. So I think we will need to find a tool to check. Without that, we need to manually check and fix them.
Okay.
Yeah, and if this is a website, we can have some tools to automatically check those links and pictures. But this is a GitHub repo, so I'm not sure if there's a link check tool that we can use to automate this process. And another question is that, why did we incorporate so many broken links and pictures in previous PRs? I think this is not a good practice when we did the PR reviewing. So I think we may need a process to check broken links and pictures when we merging new PRs. In the Notary website, we have the CI process to check if there is any broken links in the PR. It's just a call and just a question.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. I take a note.
Hey, just a small note. I think the date, did you change the date to be June 26th for today's notes?
Sorry, Samuel.
My bad. I was looking at the wrong link. It's all good. Ignore.
Okay. Thanks. I think this should be fixed no matter whether we because we will have a new issue for a new repository for the specification, right? So I think we can try to fix as much as possible in the older repo, in the Notary project repo. But if not, once we move to the new repository, we can still to work on this, fixing these broken links. I saw Kadesh shared link.
Yeah, thanks Pritesh for recommending a GitHub Actions, which can help us automate the link check. I think we can give it a try and introduce this into our GitHub Actions if this is a good alternative.
Okay. We can take a look. So basically, the ideally is that we can have some actions integrated to the PR, right? So once a document the PR is created, the CI will check whether any links in the PR is broke, right? Okay, maybe a few minutes later you can check whether this GitHub action works or not.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we just on time. So thanks everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.